Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can remember your spiritual master. I'll just recite the Guru Parampara. Param Pujya Radhanath Swami Maharaj, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Gaur Kishore, Bhakti Vinod, Baladev, Jagannath, Vishwanath, Narottam, Krishnadas, Raghunath Jeev, Rup Sarup Sanatan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ishwarapuri, Nityanand Advaita, Madhvendrapuri, Lakshmipati, Vyas Tirtha, Brahmanya Tirtha, Purushottam, Jaya Dharma, Rajendra, Vidyanidhi, Dayanidhi, Jnana Sindhu, Jaya Tirtha, Akshobhya, Madhav, Nrihari, Padmanabh, Madhva, Vyas, Narad, Brahma, Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you to Bhakti Vaibhav course. We are studying Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter number 9. We completed chapter number 8. That was prayers of Queen Kunti, Parikshit saved, and bewilderment of Yudhishthira Maharaj at the end of this chapter, 8th chapter. And as we begin this chapter, I already gave you the breakup in the chat also here and earlier in WhatsApp also. So this chapter has 48 verses, 9th chapter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections. It's divided into 7 sections. Today we'll try to cover first 16 verses. Yeah, we are going to begin from first verse, right? Which text? Yeah, first verse.
Yes, Prabhuji, first verse.
Yeah. So verse number 1 to 10. Experts adjust contextual practices to fulfill essential purpose. We'll see this, how it is. So in the Mahabharata, among many exalted pure personalities, Bhishmadev is the one, but he was highly misunderstood. And this chapter will actually glorify and depict the real character of Bhishmadev. At the end of the 8th chapter, last few verses, we discussed how Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking that actually he is the cause of all the massacre that happened on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He was thinking that for me, so many people were killed just so that I will sit on the throne of Hastinapur. That's how he was thinking and lamenting. And then, as this chapter begins, Yudhishthira Maharaj bewilderment. What is the reason and what are the possible causes behind that will be revealed by Bhishmadev himself. And it will be clear to Yudhishthira Maharaj that why this battle was fought and why so many people were killed. So let's begin chapter number 9, passing away of Bhishmadev in the presence of Lord Krishna. Sut uvacha iti bhita prajadrohat sarvadharma vivitsaya tato vinashanam pragat yatra deva vratopatat. Yeah, Aruna Mataji, can you read translation?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Dandot Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandot.
Suta Goswami said, being afraid for having killed so many subjects on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Maharaja Yudhishthira went to the scene of the massacre. There, Bhishma Deva was lying on a bed of arrows, about to pass away. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So this is the sign of actually a pious person or a religious person. Even when things are done or somebody may do good for you, but still you feel that you don't deserve that. This is the sign of a devotee actually, or even an ordinary pious man. He will not feel that I deserve this or this should be given to me. Generally, people in this world they demand, isn't it? We all demand that I deserve this, I want this, I must get this. I am an initiated devotee for last 40 years. I have served so much. So why they didn't give me extra gulab jamun in the feast? People fight over small things. What to speak about the kingdom? What to speak about the position which we may get? Yeah, Venkatesh, Avatar Prabhu, everyone. What he wants to say? 9.1. Okay. Yes, 9.1. So this is the if we carefully study scriptures and Bhagavatam or especially Bhagavatam, because there will be actual behavior of a devotee. Bhagavad Gita gives the philosophy, but then how a devotee is supposed to behave, you can observe even more in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Bhagavatam is one stage, and after that there is a Chaitanya Charitamrita. You will see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Mahaprabhu's Shishtashtakam, it's like that. And of course, these are the same devotees who appear there in the Chaitanya Lila. All the devotees who are there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But in Chaitanya Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will see they will play the role of a practicing Hare Krishna devotee. Now here they may not be a Hare Krishna devotee exactly in the present context, but they are Hare Krishna devotees, but for having your daily sadhana and living a life of a sadhaka, how you should behave, that will be more demonstrated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But from here we can begin. Like here Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was afraid for having killed so many subjects on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So did Yudhishthira kill or did Krishna help to kill? Right? But this is the sign of a great soul. What was that? When good things happen, we don't take the credit. We give credit to our spiritual master or Krishna. And when bad things happen, we take the responsibility. Right? That is the attitude of a devotee. So yes, everything is happening by the will of the Lord. And everything is being done by empowerment of the Lord. But a devotee doesn't claim whatever best that happens is only by the grace of the Guru, and whatever that worst happens is only by whose?
By my bad karma.
Yes, that's same section will come here. Bad karma, or you may say carelessness, or our mistakes, or whatever. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is thinking that I killed so many people, and all of them are actually going to meet Bhishma Dev, because as it was evident from the movement of Yudhishthira Maharaj, even Lord Krishna could not pacify. Even great sages like Dhaumya or Vyas, they couldn't pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj, because that was the will of the Lord, that they all should go to Bhishma Dev and Whole world should know the glory of my devotee Bhishma. That was the plan of Lord Krishna. So sometimes you have to wait. You may feel injustice with me. There has been so much injustice. So do you want to go back to Godhead or just want to fight for justice in this world? You have to define your objective and your goal. And if you have this attitude, you will never commit Vaishnava Aparadha, for sure. Because the goal of your life, see, just like in the exam hall, if you are admitted to the exam hall and you're writing some exam, and for some reason, the examiner he said something to you, or he may just suspect something on you, or he may have some verbal fight or anything. So better is for us to just just admit, okay, whatever the problem, I accept. Let me write. I will not do anything wrong further. Instead of fighting and arguing, that may waste your time. For that moment, just carry on and finish your exam paper. Later on, you can think of finding out the But sometimes people they keep arguing during that period and they lose their valuable time. Even I was actually working as a lecturer in the college, so I have experience of that. So when he used to examine, used to supervise the students during exam. So then I would personally say that okay, we'll see later. You first of all you write, finish your paper, we will see later. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj and all the Pandavas, they go to meet Bhishma Dev. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is thinking that okay, so many people are killed, so much massacre happened. If I ascend to the throne of Hastinapur, I may not get implicated even more. I'm already implicated. If I enjoy the throne now, I may get implicated even more, in the karmic reactions. So therefore, he was hesitant to rule, and therefore, he was actually thinking of renouncing the kingdom and not to get implicated into karmic reactions. But then, there was one more stalwart Mahajan still waiting Pandavas for the Pandavas and the Lord to come. Actually, Bhishma fell on the 10th day, but because he had the Ichha Mrityu, as you all know, he was lying on the bed of arrows, and he was waiting for the opportune moment for Lord Krishna to come, and in front of him, he wanted to leave his body, and also to pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj and all the Pandavas. So Prabhupada writes, in this 9th chapter, as it was willed by Lord Krishna, Bhishmadeva will impart instructions to King Yudhishthira on the subject of occupational duties. Bhishmadeva will also offer his prayer to the Lord on the verge of passing away from this mortal world and thus become liberated from the bondage of further material engagements. And beautiful prayers, amazing devotional prayers Bhishmadeva will offer. And this devotional side of Bhishmadeva is only revealed through Bhagavatam, not any other scriptures. That's why Bhagavatam is such an important literature, for all of us. Even though we may have watched all the episodes of Mahabharata on Ramananda Sagar, Doordarshan during those days, or we may have read the Mahabharata, but still Bhishma's glorious character will be revealed through this chapter in the Bhagavatam. Bhishmadev was endowed with the power of leaving his material body at will, and his lying down on the bed of arrows was his own choice. This passing away of the great warrior attracted the attention of all the contemporary elites, and all of them assembled there to show their feelings of love, respect, and affection for the great soul. Just like Parikshit Maharaj, when he was passing away, all the great sages, all the great personalities of the universe, they assembled at the bank of Ganges, and they knew very well when a great soul passes away, there will be some great event happening. Like Parikshit, in case of Parikshit Maharaj, Bhagavad Katha was spoken. Like in case of Bhishmadev, now he is going to instruct Bhagavad Dharma, and also other occupational duties to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And also his love for the Supreme Lord will be revealed here. And that's how all the Pandavas, they are going to meet Bhishmadev. Tada te bhratara sarve sadeshe sadvashe swarna bhushite anvagachana rather vipra vyasadhomya dayastatha. Yeah, Venkatesh, Avatar Prabhu, can you read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
At the time of all his brothers followed him on beautiful chariots drawn by first-class horses decorated with the gold ornaments. With them were Vyasa and rishis like Dhaumya. They learned the priest of the Pandavas and others. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So how they are going to Yudhishthira Bhishmadev? On beautiful chariots drawn by first class horses, and they all are decorated with gold ornaments. Sorry, horses. And they are all with beautiful dresses. So generally what happens when you go to meet somebody who's on the deathbed, you don't dress so luxuriantly, right? You don't go on the chariot. So of course, according to time, place, circumstances, and different socio-culture, they have different kind of dresses as per different cultures. So in our Hindu society, we have white dress they wear, right? White saris and white simple dress. Why? Because the occasion is like that. Occasion is not an occasion of celebration. So occasion of sadness. So, but here you will see that Pandavas, they are going with golden chariots decorated with gold ornaments and beautiful dresses. Why it is like that? Why they are going like this?
Because they are kings, Prabhuji.
Okay, they are kings and they are supposed to go like that. Yes, king cannot go in simple
With their appearance, they have to go.
Yeah, they can't go in simple dress like pajama kurta white. Yeah, of course they are kings. Yes, and few more reasons.
Because Prabhuji, they wanted to let Bhishma Pitama know that Yudhishthir has become the king, and then they are in a good state. They want.
Correct. Yes, so they were king, and king has to dress opulently because
they won the battlefield.
Yes, they also won the battlefield. Of course, Yudhishthira Maharaj was not thinking that he is supposed to be the king, but still, adding the another reason that Mohit Prabhu just now said, that actually Bhishma Dev, he wanted to see them like that. Actually, Bhishma was their well-wisher right from their childhood, right? He was on the side of Pandavas only. Bhishma and Vidura, they were the saviors and well-wishers of Pandavas. When so many atrocities were done by Kauravas on them, as we studied in the 8th chapter, Vishan Mahagani Purushartha Darshana, as Kunti Maharani already admitted. So Bhishma Dev, his heart-cherished desire was to see Yudhishthira Maharaj ruling the entire kingdom. And see, just like a dying man, he's asked his last wish, right? And if we can fulfill that wish, it's always good, right? So Pandavas, they knew very well, and Lord Krishna actually knew very well that Bhishma Dev, he wanted to see Pandavas ruling nicely and being situated nicely, because they went through so many difficulties and troubles. So just like any other ordinary parents or our guardians, they want to see their loved ones to be situated nicely, happily, isn't it? So Bhishma Dev also was feeling like that, and therefore Pandavas, to fulfill that desire of Bhishma Dev, they were going on horses decorated with gold ornaments, and along with them all the sages like Vyasa and rishis like Dhaumya, they all accompanied them. Bhagavan api viparshe rathena sadhanjaya satarvero chata nrupa kuvera eva guhyakai. Sanjay Prabhu, can you read? Are you there? Okay. Yeah, text number
Yeah,
three.
Prabhuji.
Text number 3.
O sage amongst the Brahmins, Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, also followed, seated on a chariot with Arjun. Thus King Yudhishthir appeared very aristocratic, like Kuvera surrounded by his companions, the Guhyakas.
Okay. So along with the sages, Lord Krishna was also present. Prabhupada writes, Lord Sri Krishna wanted the Pandavas to be present before Bhishmadev in the most aristocratic order so that he might be pleased to see them happy at the time of his death. So actually the answer for second verse is given here in the purport of third verse. That's the reason why Pandavas were dressed opulently. Kuvera is the richest of all demigods, and hearing King Yudhishthira appeared like him for the procession along with Sri Krishna was quite appropriate to the royalty of King Yudhishthira. Drishta nipitatam bhumo divishtuma imamaram pranemo pandava bhishmam sanuga sahachakrina. Yes, Sanjay Prabhu, you are there already, you read it. Rakshadavi Mataji, can you read verse number 4, translation?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. Drasta nipatitam bhumo divyasutamivaamaram pranemo pandava bhishmam sanuga sahachakrina. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. Seeing him, Bhishma, lying on the ground like a demigod fallen from the sky, the Pandava king of Yudhishthir, along with his younger brother and Lord Krishna, bowed down before him. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
ऋषयः सर्वे देवर्षयश्च
Okay, so what's number 4? So Bhishma, he was lying on the bed of arrows, like a demigod fallen from. Actually, he was Bhishma. It will be revealed in the 9th verse. He was one of the Vasu, right? Not exactly Vasu. Bhishma is there always along with Lord Krishna in the spiritual world. So just like in the Dwarka pastimes, demigods they descend along with the Dwarka devotees, one combined incarnation. And when demigods, when Krishna goes back to Godhead, demigods portions they go to heavenly planets, and devotees they go back to Dwarka. So it was like that. So it was not exactly Vasu. So Bhishma and Vasu they came together because Bhishma is there in the Path planet eternally in the spiritual world along with Lord Krishna. So that analogy is given like a demigod fallen from the sky. So exactly he was a Vasu. The Pandavas king Yudhishthira along with his younger brothers Lord Krishna bowed down before him. Prabhupada writes, Lord Krishna was also younger cousin of Maharaj Yudhishthira as well as the intimate friend of Arjuna. But all the family members of the Pandavas knew Lord Krishna the supreme personality of Godhead. The Lord, although conscious of his supreme position, always behaved in a humanly custom. And so he also bowed down before the dying Bhishmadev. And that's the glory of, that's the mystery of Lord Krishna's behavior. As if he were one of the younger brothers of King Yudhishthira. And what happened? Tatra Brahma Rishaya Sarve Deva Rishayascha Saptama Raja Shreyascha Tatrasan Drashtam Bharata Pungavam. Yeah, Vrindavan Mataji, you read it.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam. तत्र ब्रह्मऋषयः सर्वे देवऋषयश्च सत्तमा राजऋषयश्च तत्रासन् द्रष्टुं भृतपुङ्गवम्. Just to see the chief of the descendants of King Bharat, Bhishma, all the great souls in the universe, namely the rishis amongst the demigods, brahmanas, and kings, all situated in the quality of goodness, were assembled there. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Prabhupada, the rishis are those who have attained perfection by spiritual achievements. Such spiritual achievements can be earned by all, whether one is a king or a mendicant. Bhishmadev also was one of the brahmacharis and the chief of the descendants of King Bharata. All rishis are situated in the mode of quality of goodness, all of them assembled there on hearing the news of the great warriors impending death. And who all sages came there? Next verse describes Parvato Narado Dhomyo Bhagavan Badarayana Brahadascha Bharadwaja Sashishya Renuka Sutta Vasishta Indra Pramadastito. Okay. Titro Gustamadro Asita Kashivana Gautamo Trisha Kaushikotha Sudarshana. Yeah. Aruna Sumukhi Mataji, please read the translation.
Hare Krishna. All the sages like Parvata Muni, Narada, Dhaumya, Vyasa, the incarnation of God, Brihadvashva, Ruradvaja, and Parashurama, the disciples, Vasishta, Indra Pramada, Tritha, Grusamada, Asita, Kakshivan, Gautama, Atri, Kaushika, and Sudarshana were present.
Okay. So all these great personalities from all over the universe, they assembled at the battlefield, which was actually now on the battlefield. Battle already happened, but one person was alive there on the battlefield, Bhishmadeva, on the death bed of arrows, and to see his last departure from this mortal world. All these sages and the great rishis and personalities, they are assembled there. Prabhupada gives long purport, and he gives small, brief detail about all these great sages. Like in the very first, he gives the Parvat Muni is considered to be the one of the oldest sages. He's always accompanying Narad Muni. Looks like both of them are, ashram mates. They are always together. Even in the pastime Chitraketu Maharaj also, and in the pastime of Brugari also, Parvat Muni, Narad Muni, they are always together. And they are also spacemen, competent to travel in the air without the help of any material vehicle. Parvat Muni is also a Devrishi or a great sage amongst the demigod, like Narada. He was present along with Narada at the sacrificial ceremony of Maharaj Janmejay, son of Maharaj Parikshit. Right? So, of course, I will not read all the details, but a few things here and there. Like Narad Muni, Parvat Muni also used to visit the royal assembly in the heaven of King Indra. As a Gandharva, sometimes he visited the royal assembly of Kubera, one of the important demigods. Both Narad and Parvat were once in trouble with the daughter of Maharaj Srinjaya. Maharaj Srinjaya got the benediction of son by Parvat Muni. Of course, so I will not go read all the these details. You may read later. Is that all right? Because then our time will go in that purport only. As per calculation of Vrindavan Leela Mataji, we have to cover at least 12 verses per class. Then only our syllabus will get over. As per the deadline. Okay. go to the next verse, which is the most important verse in this chapter. That is the 8th verse, 8, 9, 10. These are most important verses. And of course, in the coming section. Sorry, not 8th, a little ahead. I was thinking that another verse. Then who all came? Annecha Munaya Brahman Brahmarata Dayomala Shishya Rupaita Ajugmu Kasha Pingarasada. Yeah. Gandhi Prabhu, can you read the translation?
Prabhuji, which number? I just joined late little.
Verse number 8, Prabhuji. 9th chapter, 8th verse.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji, just a minute.
Yeah.
Krishna Dandavat Pranam, translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. And many others like Sukadeva Goswami and other purified souls, Kashyapa and Angirasa and others, all accompanied by their respective dispel, arrived there.
Okay, so who came there? Like Sukadeva Goswami, who is the speaker of Bhagavatam. Another purified says like Kashyap, Agni-rasa and other, accompanied by the respective disciples. Prabhupada and Sukadeva Goswami, that is Brahmarata, the famous son and disciple of Sri Vyasdev, who taught him first the Mahabharata and then Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami recited how much? Is there 14 lakh verses of the Mahabharata in the council of Gandharvas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, and then recite Bhagavatam for the first time in the presence of Parikshit Maharaj. And then Prabhupada writes, from Mahabharata Sabha Parva, it is understood that he was also present in the royal assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira and at the fasting of Maharaj Parikshit. Of course, he spoke this to Maharaj Parikshit, Bhagavatam. And then Prabhupada writes further ahead that a bona fide disciple of Sri Vasudev, he inquired from his father very extensively about religious principle and religious spiritual values. And his great father also satisfied him by teaching him the yoga system by which one can attain spiritual kingdom. The difference between fruitive work and empiric knowledge, the ways and the means of attaining spiritual realization, the 4 ashramas, namely Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanprastha, Sannyas, and all other things. The process of seeing him eye to eye, the Supreme Lord, the bona fide candidate for receiving knowledge. Like that. He's giving the detail of here, Sukadeva Goswami. So if you want to know what all Sukadeva Goswami studied, here is the detail. So we may sometimes think that Sukadeva Goswami only studied Bhagavatam. But Sukadeva Goswami studied what all is given here. And then Prabhupada writes, sometimes he went to the sun planet with the permission of his father and Narad ji. Description of his travel in space are given in Shanti Parva of Mahabharata. At last he attained the transcendental realm. He is known by different names like Atrena, Vyasaki or Vyas Samaja. Like that. Then Kashyap Muni's detail is given. And finally, Agni Raso, his detail is given there. You can read that later. Then move ahead. Tan Sametan Mahabhagan Pulabhya Vasuttama Pujayamasa Dharmagyo Deshakala Vivagavit. Yeah. Vardayani Mataji. Sorry, Vardayani is Mataji. Yeah, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Sadhu Pranam. Bhishma Deva, who was the best amongst the 8 Vasus, received and welcomed all the great and powerful rishis who were assembled there, for he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, so now identity of Bhishma is given here, but this is not the original identity of Bhishma, as I said earlier. Bhishma Deva is actually eternally living in this Parthartha planet with Lord Krishna in the spiritual world, or that feature of Lord Krishna, which is military form of Lord, the Chaturbhuj, because Bhishma is in various with Lord Krishna, and he likes to see that military form, So he was Vasu in his previous life. That Vasu portion is described here, and by some mistake he committed some mistake, and then he was to take birth on the Earth planet by that curse. So one interesting observation here, that although He was cursed to, be born on the earth, Vasu, by his some, previous life mistake. Some sages they cursed Vasu. But actually, when Bhagavatam is giving the description of this Vasu, Bhagavatam is not saying that this Vasu, he had done some mistakes so and he fell down from his position. Actually, here it is said Vasuttamam, best of the Vasus. So actually, you will see Bhagavatam will never refer the mistakes of past life of a devotee, or even if they highlight that, but they will highlight in a very very devotional way. Just like you see the pastime of Chitraketu Maharaj and Vritrasur. Chitraketu Maharaj was a great devotee of Lord Sankarshan. He committed the mistake and he fell. He became the great demon Vritrasur, right? Or there are many other examples you will see throughout the Bhagavatam. So this is one point to be noted. No value judgment when describing the past life of the devotee. And another thing in this verse, which is said that for he knew Bhishma perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place. So actually he's supposed to greet the sages, right? All the personalities who came to visit him. But he was lying on the deathbed, bed of the arrows. So he couldn't get up and pay the obeisances to all of them. But he adjusted that. Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is one of the most important purport of Prabhupada. Prabhupada, expert religionists know perfectly well how to adjust religious principles. And then how he greeted the sages? Through his words. Expert religionists know perfectly well how to adjust religious principles in terms of time and place. All the great acharyas or religious preachers or reformers of the world execute their mission by adjustment of religious principles in terms of time and place. Just like Prabhupada gave, Diksha, Brahman Diksha to Mataji's, right? It was needed. And actually, previously, traditionally, no one would travel beyond, overseas, out of India. Why? Because there was a fear. It was a positive, fear that the culture outside India is the culture of Yavanas and Malachas, and one can fall down from his position. But the Vaishnava acharyas, they are ready to take even that risk to deliver the mankind. And this is the adjustment according to, just like Saraswati Thakur, he would travel on the, he will use, he was using suits and boot and car and all that. That was the revolution that time. Nobody thought that this can be done. And big palatial buildings, for his Gaudiya Mutt. Like you will never see traditional, ashrams or temples like what we have in ISKCON. Like here we have in Chopati wooden floor. And not even the big richest people have such kind of luxuries that they have the wooden floor in their home. Because that concept is not there. That to have, and you will see, and all such arrangements are made just so that it is convenient for the practitioner, or sadhakas to perform sadhana nicely. That's the purpose behind that. And Prabhupada writes here, there are different climates and situations in different parts of the world. Actually, same purport in the same line Prabhupada writes for Dhruva Maharaj also in the 4th canto. When Dhruva Maharaj was worshipping Lord Krishna by making the images using that what he used, Dhruva Maharaj, when Narad Muni instructed him, sand, right? Made of sand or something like that. There Prabhupada writes elaborate purport on a deity of can be of so and so of material. And there are different climates and situations in different parts of the world, and if one has to discharge his duties to preach the message of the Lord, he must be expert in adjusting things in terms of the time and place. Just like we are having Zoom session, this is also an adjustment according to time and place. So I don't think before this pandemic there were so many classes going on. Now you see all over the ISKCON, So many discourses, so many even here also in Mumbai, when we have to have some meeting with congregation, we use Zoom because nobody has time to come to the temple and be there. They live 1 hour, 2 hours away from temple. Just get to the Zoom and meet there and discuss the things. Becomes convenient. So according to time and circumstances. Prabhupada writes that Bhishma Deva was one of the 12 great authorities in preaching this cult of devotional service, and therefore he could receive and welcome all the powerful sages assembled there at his deathbed from all parts of the universe. He was certainly unable at that time to welcome and receive them physically because he was neither at his home nor in normal healthy condition, but he was quite fit by activities of his sound mind, and therefore he could utter sweet words with hearty expressions, and all of them were received very well. So this is the way how we have to adjust time, place, and circumstance and execute our devotional service. Then Bhishma Dev says, sorry, not Bhishma Dev, Bhishma will say it little later. But here in the next verse, Sutta Goswami saying, Krishnam cha tat prabhavagya asinam jagadishwaram radhistam pujayamasa mayaya patta vigraha. Yeah. Gandhi Pro, can you read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Lord Sri Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, yet he manifests his transcendental form by his internal potency. This very Lord was sitting before Bhishma Deva, and since Bhishma Deva knew all of his glories, he worshipped him duly. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. So actually Bhishma Deva was happy seeing all the personalities and sages and Pandavas, but he was more happy seeing Lord Krishna, his beloved Lord. And he greeted him also. He worshipped him duly. So actually there are principles and there are practices. So principles will remain same, but our practice will change. Like Saraswati Thakur used to say that those who do not chant 64 rounds, they are fallen. So by his calculation, we will take to the chanting of Hare Krishna at present in 2022. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But Prabhupada knew very well that these are all very, very fallen souls. They cannot even chant 16, what to speak of 64. So we may chant sometimes 64 on certain occasions like Ekadashi or some appearance day of Acharyas or some festivals. But last Radhashtami, Janmashtami I chanted 108 rounds, but that was quite good because it was fasting. So it all went very nice. So I thought, okay, let me try on Radhashtami also. But Radhashtami means no fasting, fasting till noon only. Radharani is very merciful on devotees. She is mother, no? So she feels okay. Why they should be fasting after 12? They should be given good feast. So I started at 12 in the night. I slept around 6 in the evening, just before Radhashtami. And I got up at 12, started chanting. I chanted till, of course, in between Mangalarti and going to washroom and bathing. At 8 o'clock, my services started in the kitchen. Supposed to cook the feast for devotees along with other cooks in the kitchen. I thought it will get over in 1 or 2 hours and then I'll chant. The whole day is there with me. My God, it started at not 8 o'clock. Actually, 8 o'clock supposed to start. I went to the kitchen. So actually, it started shaking from that time only. As soon as I left the temple hall, I went down. So they said, no, actually things are not ready. You come by 9 o'clock. So then already I was distracted. And then I came up. A few devotees met me on the way. And then few things here and there. Still I was chanting. And then I went 9 o'clock. From 9 till 12:30 it went on. Cooking, heavy cooking. So much heat. And then when I came out, I was so exhausted. Whole night I chanted, and then I thought, okay, I already covered almost 50 rounds. Half the rounds are over. Few more rounds, no problem. It can go on. Then I just came. Then I thought, let me have some prasadam. Then I had the prasadam. The effect was very adventurous. I took the prasadam. Then my sister came. Then she said, I want tiffin. I'm going to the hospital. She, serving here nearby in the JJ hospital. It's quite close from here. So I didn't check my WhatsApp earlier, the day before. She had already sent WhatsApp that I am coming. And when she came, the feast was not, serving didn't start. So she gave me, big list. I want this, that. So I said, wow, Radharani already sent another Radharani. So I have to give. So I went to the kitchen. I packed the tiffin. Then I came in the office, same place here. I was so tired. Took some rest. I was still thinking, 50 rounds already done. I'll do. Then again afternoon I chanted some rounds. Then someone came to meet me. The festival, so many devotees come to the temple. It went on like that. By the time I reached 10 o'clock, I had completed only 64. I thought, oh my God, I already gave promise to Radharani, I will chant 108. For Krishna, I already chanted. Radharani will be very, unhappy with me. Then I thought, okay, I'll still complete. But I could go till 80 only. And then the remaining 28 rounds, they went on for next 3 days. Because I already promised I will do. 4 days I was just, my schedule was, and thanks to all of you, you gave me a good holiday on those days. I took a good rest. So like that. So, it's not actually possible to adjust what the standard our acharyas have set for us. But Prabhupada very mercifully gave us 16 rounds. And if we can chant very attentively those 16 rounds with the attitude of service, they will be equivalent to 64. And if we chant 64 with improper attitude or no service attitude, then those 64 even can't match the 16 also. So we have to stick what Prabhupada gave us. So Prabhupada did say 16, but that 16 means actually attentive and a very quality, with a good quality. Not that Prabhupada said 16, okay, I chanted my 16 round is done. No. That 16 means very, very attentive with a love and devotion. That 16 Prabhupada meant. And then Prabhupada said, those who do not chant 16 round, they may fall at any time. So he may say, Arey Baba, I am chanting 16, but I am still falling every day. Then what Prabhupada meant to say? Prabhupada meant to say that those 16 means with that quality, then you will not fall. Attentive japa, like that. So yes, Bhishmadev adjusted the situations and greeted the Lord also. Panduputran upasinam prashayam prema sangatam abhaya chashtan anuragashar andhibhutena chakshusha. Yeah. Kannak, your name probably I couldn't pronounce.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. But I have a Hindi Bhagavatam with me, Prabhu. I don't have English Bhagavatam.
All right, you read Hindi translation, no problem.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes.
पास ही महाराज पांडु के सारे पुत्र शांत बैठे थे और अपने मरणासन पितामह के प्रेम से अभिभूत थे। यह देखकर भीष्मदेव ने उन्हें भावपूर्ण बधाई दी। उनके नेत्रों में आनंदाश्रु थे क्योंकि वे प्रेम तथा स्नेह से आप्लावित हो गए थे। हरे कृष्ण।
Okay, so Bhishma was very happy seeing Pandavas. Ecstatically, tears came from his eyes. Actually, Bhishma never wanted to fight against the Pandavas, right? As we know from the Mahabharata. But he was obliged to fight against Pandavas because Duryodhan, he maintained the Bhishma Dev, and he had to show his loyalty at the hour of need. And Prabhupada writes that At the last, in the middle of the purport, at the last stage of his life, when Bhishmadev saw his most exalted grandsons aided by Maharaj Yudhishthir, sitting very gently on his side, at his side, the great warrior grandfather could not check his loving tears, which were automatically flowing from his eyes. He remembered the great tribulation suffered by his most pious grandsons. Certainly, he was the most satisfied man because of Yudhishthir's being enthroned in place of Duryodhana, and thus he began to congratulate them. Now Bhishma will start speaking. Yes. So of course you should not try 108. I just said that. You should calculate your time, because once you give the promise, you have to fulfill that. Or I don't know, you may be chanting more than that. I may be underestimating all of you. So then Bhishma says, now these 12, 13, 14 verses are one of the most important verses for the sadhakas. So Pandavas, they went through all that, struggle and difficult times. And you may wonder why they went all, through all those calamities. What was the problem? Why Lord Krishna didn't help them? So Bhishma they will analyze here. And we have to visualize yourself as a sadhaka and you are going through some trouble. And Bhishma is now giving consultation to you. Okay? Why this happened in your life, or why that is happening in your life, or why this is going to happen in your life. Okay? Aho kashtam aho nyayam yadyuyam dharmanandana jivitam nahartam klishtam vipradharma chutashaya. Yeah. Vrindavanila Mataji, please read this.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Aho kashtam aho anyayam yadyuyam dharmanandana jivitum narahatha klishtam vipradharma chitashraya. Bhishma Dev said, "Oh, what terrible sufferings and what terrible injustices you good souls suffer for being the sons of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those tribulations, yet you were protected by the Brahmanas, God, and religion." Hare Krishna.
Okay. So what was the acronym I have given? Not acronym, title. From 11th verse till 16th verse. Actually, it's not mine, it's Chaitanya Prabhu's. I'm just highlighting and giving that concerns for other suffering decreases our own suffering. So Bhishma, he was suffering, right? On the deathbed. And he was on the bed of arrows. But he was feeling ecstatic. Why? Because he was concerned for others suffering. So sometimes we feel that I am the only person suffering in this world. But if you inquire, you will say whole world is suffering. You may think, why this happened to me only? Why did they give only one gulab jamun? But you will see behind you, there are many more that didn't get even dal chawal in the festival. You see, those the devotees who do serving, or those who are in the crowd care, they take prasad at the last, and they don't get the full feast. They may get even simple dal chawal khichdi, and you are just complaining that you didn't get one extra gulab jamun. So you have to see that I'm not the only person who is suffering actually. And here Bhishma Dev is saying that what terrible suffering, what terrible injustice. You good souls suffer for being the sons of religious personified. So actually he's empathizing with them, Pandavas, that you're not supposed to suffer like this, but you suffered. Why? He's only giving the question. He will only give the answer. Prabhupada writes, Maharaj Yudhishthira was disturbed due to the great massacre in the battle of Kurukshetra. Bhishma Dev could understand this. And therefore he spoke first the terrible sufferings of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was put into difficulty by injustice only, and the battle of Kurukshetra was fought just to counteract this injustice. Prabhupada writes, last 3-4 lines. As long as a person is fully in cooperation with the wishes of the Lord, guided by the bona fide Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, the three principles, the three elements. Number one, where is that? Where is that? Yeah, three important items. Yeah, before that, Prabhupada writes, as long as they were protected by these three important items, there was no cause of disappointment. What are they? Wishes of the Lord, guided by the bona fide Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. We may see that, okay, I am following everything rigidly. I'm chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds, following 4 rules. I'm pleasing my spiritual master. I'm not committing any Vaishnava aparadh. But still, this thing happened to me. Such a great disease is just coming, or some financial loss, or some relationship problem. So many things can happen in this world. So Prabhupada writes, one has no cause of despondency, however trying the circumstances of life. Bhishmadev was one of the authorities in the line, wanted to impress this point upon the Pandavas. So these three things, they are guided by them. But in the next verse he will say, samstite rathe pando prathambala prajavadu yushma krutem bruhun kleshan praptan tokavati muhu. As far as my daughter-in-law Kunti is concerned, upon the great General Pandu's death, she became a widow with many children, and therefore she suffered greatly. And when you were grown up, she suffered a great deal also because of your actions. Kind of chastising. So, my daughter-in-law Kunti, she was innocent. She suffered because of you. So actually, Duryodhana's, this. He was not trying to fight Kunti. He was trying to fight Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas. Why? Because they were supposed to rule the kingdom and he wanted to rule. So Kunti Maharani actually, she already enlisted all the things in the last chapter. But here again, Bhishmadev is saying that when she became widow, we may not understand. Ideally, I may not understand what is the life of a person who is without the companion, right? Through what they go, difficult times of life. So actually, it's very easy to live with the partner and then you have children and everything. But a woman who is alone, without husband, is quite a difficult time. And that too, when people like Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, their own relatives, they are plotting against them. It's not that someone outsider, own family members, they're plotting against them. And when they grew, Pandavas, when they were grown up, she also suffered. Why? Because Duryodhana and party, they wanted to kill them. And Kunti Maharani is their mother. So she also suffered along with them. The proper right suffering of Kunti Devi are doubly lamented. She suffered greatly because of early widowhood and to get her minor children brought up in the royal family. And when children were grown up, continued to suffer because of son's actions. So her suffering continued. This means that she was destined to suffer by providence, and this one has to tolerate without being disturbed. So the great devotee like Kunti Maharani, if she has to go through, what about us? How much devotion we have for Krishna? And here it is not said destined to suffer by past karma. It is said by providence. For us, there is a past karma also. And then Krishna is Almighty Swarat. Suddenly he may think something, he may plan something for you. And the course of your life will suddenly change. Your karma is already there. And along with that, Lord Krishna, he's Tribhanga, when he is playing the flute in Tribhanga form. So he is actually very cunning, positively cunning. You do not know what he will do at what time. just to bring you closer to him. We may not understand that. And then Yudhishthir Maharaj, Bhishmadev, says the famous words of Bhagavatam, 14th verse. What is the reason? What is the cause for all this? Because you have the guidance of Brahmanas, you are pious, you have Supreme Lord in your side. Still, you go through all these sufferings. Why? Sarvakala kritam manne bhavatam cha yada priyam sapalo vidyeshe loko vayur eva ghanavali. Yeah. Gandhi Prabhu, can you read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In my opinion, this is all due to inevitable time, under whose control everyone in every planet is carried, just as the clouds are carried by the wind.
Yes. So now Bhishma Dev is giving the analysis of the cause of Pandava's suffering. He is giving the analogy of the wind being blown away, carried away by, cloud being blown away by mighty wind. So this is to say all this, is just to highlight that in this world there are forces beyond our power. And as long as we do not accept that, acknowledge that, recognize that, we can never become, steady sadhaka. I'm not saying pure devotees. Pure devotee is the next stage. But even to become a regular steady sadhaka, we have to acknowledge this and accept that. Why? Because when the time is not in your favor, no matter whatever you do, you can't change the situation. Just like in the case of Bali Maharaj in the 8th canto, when Bali Maharaj was bound by Varun Pash, Nag Pash, by Vaman Dev, and all the soldiers of Bali Maharaj, they tried to attack Vaman Dev, not knowing that he is the Vishnu. But Lord was accompanied by his associates, Nanda Sunandan. They attack from other side. All the demons bash them like anything. That time Bali Maharaj, seeing that, he feels great grief for the soldiers, and he says, "Oh Namuji, oh Rahu, oh Pulaman, please don't fight. Now the time is not in our favor. When time is not in our favor, you may, and there is a beautiful verse. He says that you will not, you can't counteract the actions of time by council of ministers, by wealth, by good intelligence. Whatever you may use, you will fail. Just like yesterday only I was discussing. Our life is a just like you go to watch the disaster movie, horror movie, and in that horror movie you may see a tsunami coming, and people are being crushed, killed, or thrown away, or earthquake coming. But if you see our life is a complete horror and disaster movie happening continuously. But because of the power of time, the time has these multiple functions. One of the feature of time is imperceptibility. You can't perceive how the time is acting on you. Every second, every minute, you are growing old gradually. Every cell of your body is getting old, but we don't realize that. We may think that I will apply cosmetics, I'll do surgery, and then I'll become young. But at one point of time, even the cosmetic and surgery is not possible. Body will go beyond that, and you will have to give up that. And that disaster, this disaster is with 100% casualty, isn't it? There may be some disasters with 10%, 20%, 50% casualty, but the course of time is giving lashes and bashes on us, is with 100%, what do you say, that the result is going to function 100%. So here, what Bhishma Dev is saying, that when the time is not in our favor, when the time is against you, you may do anything, but you can't counteract actions of time. And he is giving this example that just like wind, clouds, they can't do anything when a powerful wind comes. They will be blown away, hither and thither. They can't control that. So like that, sapalo yadeshe loko, all the ruling, every planet, everyone in every planet is carried just as the clouds are carried by the wind. Prabhupada writes, there is control by time all over the space within the universe, as there is control by time all over the planets. And Prabhupada writes, the inevitable kala or time controls even the actions of the air and other elements. Everything, therefore, is controlled by the supreme call, a forceful representative of the Lord. Now, interesting here, Bhishmadev is not saying Lord. Kala is under Lord only, right? But he's saying time. Why? Because that Lord is in front of him only. He's not saying he's responsible here, this person, Krishna. He's saying time. There is a purpose behind this, why he's saying like that. And Prabhupada writes here, and just after that, Yudhishthir should not be sorry for the inconceivable action of time. Everyone has to bear the actions and reactions of time as long as one is within the conditions of the material world. And last line Prabhupada writes, just after that, even the most pious has to suffer the conditions of material nature. But a pious man is faithful to the Lord, for he is guided by the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, following the religious principles. And last line Prabhupada writes here, one should not, Brahmaji is also under the control of the time. Therefore, one should not grudge against being thus controlled by time, despite being a true follower of religious principles. And that's what exactly is for the sadhakas. And then one beautiful line, Chaitanya Prabhu says that submitting to a higher power is best way to conserve our power. Submitting to a higher power is best way to conserve our power. Are you getting me? When things are against you, however you may, cry, you may jump and, run from here and there, situation will not change. The best course of action at that time is to just accept gracefully and just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Why chant? Because that will give you balm. A balm lagate sir pe. When there is headache, you apply balm. Ointment, because just to get relieved of that. So Mahamantra is like that. Of course, Mahamantra is not like that, exactly like that, but Mahamantra will give you the higher, vision. Just like last class we discussed, you have to raise your consciousness and then see that why this is happening. And if you run unnecessarily, just like Bali Maharaj, if the demons they fight, all the demons will get killed. He says, better you run away. Anyway, you want the kingdom, you will get it later. Come later and fight when time is in your favor. Now, just go away. So that's the intelligence. So when things go against us, or against our will or against our desires, it is better just to submit. And that's the most difficult thing to do. Why? Because we do not like to surrender. We do not like to be humble. But when Krishna wants, now I'm speaking like this, you may think that, okay, it's very easy to speak. But when actually it happens, you will not even remember the class in Bhagavatam verses, these verses. Why? Because our consciousness is so, we always are so dominative, and we always so, feel so proud of our intelligence, of our, good things what we have done in our life. We feel that I deserve this, I know this, how can this happen with me? this is just because of that Prabhu, or this because of that Mataji, she did something, she, gave my complaint, or she, he did that or she did that. We always like to blame others and not admit that there can be my mistakes also. And beyond that, there can be a plan of the Lord also. We may not understand. That's what Bhishmadev will say in the coming verse. Yatra dharma sato raja gadapaniru urkodara krishnasti gandivam chapam sahat krishnastu vipata. Oh, how wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthira, the son of demigod controlling religion? Bhishma, the great grand fighter with a club, the great woman Arjun with the mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all the Lord direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. You see, all what all we desire in our life, they had. What all they had? So, number one, the first clarification is it's not because of their past karma, right? Why? Because they are religious, pious. Yudhishthira Maharaj is Dharmaraj. How can he suffer from past karma? So it's not due to past karma. They are all religious, pious. Secondly, they were never careless in executing their duties. Just like sometimes we may we may be serving something, trying to cook something on the gas stove, and we may not give attention, and then it may burn everything. And then we may say, "Wow, it is happened." It happened because of. We may assign different reasons for that. But here they were not careless in performing their duties. They were not incompetent. They had who all they had? Arjun and Bhima. He was powerful in strength, and he was very expert in using the mace. And Arjun, he was very skilled archer. And after beyond all that, they had Lord Krishna, who was the source of everything. Despite that, they suffered. Why they suffered? There is a mystery behind that. And Prabhupada writes here, in the middle of the purport, despite the power of pious acts, the power of personalities, the power of expert management, and the power of weapons, under the direct supervision of Lord Krishna, the Pandavas suffered so many practical reverses, which can only be explained as due to the influence of Kala, the inevitable time. And then Prabhupada here clarifies, Kala is identical with the Lord himself, and therefore the influence of Kala indicates the inexplicable wish of the Lord himself. That's the powerful statement. Inexplicable. You can't explain. There is nothing to be lamented when a matter is beyond the control of any human being. Anyway, we can't do, right? We can't do anything. Then why to unnecessarily grudge against something or try to counteract that? Better accept the situation. Just like in case of Prabhupada, when Prabhupada, his family, they rejected him, his business was collapsing, and then everything, just went away. All whatever material assets he had. You will see Prabhupada in those times, even when he tried to preach through Gaudiya Math, he was just given 2 pairs of clothes. He would ask, can I get few more? I had to go to the well-wishers home, or this life members home. I need to have good clothes. But he didn't get. You will see during those days, when he was, he came out of the home and everything, his business collapsed. You will see reading the Lilamrit, when he came to the Gaudiya Math, he was simply chanting Hare Krishna for so many days. Have you read the Lilamrit? He was just chanting Hare Krishna, not speaking, not saying anything. Just chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we should adopt this course of action during our difficult times. Because if we have to carry on Krishna consciousness lifelong, we have to shut our mouth during that time. Close our ears, close our eyes. Okay? And even if you want to cry, cry in front of Krishna. Because except for Krishna, nobody can understand you. And of course, the pure devotees of the Lord or your well-wishers. But definitely, that time, only Krishna can handle you. He only can understand you, and you will feel solace, because you read that, those Lilamrit, sections, you will relate so much when you go through, those difficult times of your life. that you have nothing except chant Hare Krishna. That's why we say, the ultimate, that one Bollywood movie was there, Akhri Rasta. So in our ashram we used to just joke, Akhri Rasta, holy name. When things go against you, no point in arguing, no point in trying to counteract that. Why? Because next verse will actually clarify more. Here that's why in the 16th verse, Vishmadev says, Nahi asya karishid rajan puman veda vidit stitam yad vigyasaya yukta muhyanti kavayopiha. O king, no one can know the plan of the Lord Sri Krishna, even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. So if the great philosophers, they cannot understand what we can understand, what we know, we do not know anything else. What knowledge we have, isn't it? So of course it is said that the ways of God are different from ways of man. Why Parikshit Maharaj, was cursed? Why Dhruva Maharaj was insulted? Why Indradumna Maharaj was cursed by Agastya Rishi for no fault? Indradumna Maharaj was meditating. Agastya Rishi came there, and just because Agastya Rishi, he didn't receive him, didn't get the honor because Indradumna Maharaj was meditating, he cursed him to become, elephant in the next life. So all the Bhagavatam pastimes, they are like this only, beginning from. So if this is, the scripture which we are following, means you can expect that our course of life will also be like this. And the Pandavas, they went through all this. 10th canto, you will see Brajavasis. Krishna spent just 11 years with them, and then he never came back. At least physically, you can imagine how much Krishna, is going to test you, test me, all of us. He will test me more because I'm speaking. Yeah, I had such experience in the, just last year. Something happened. I will not give the details. But something happened which was actually very, just like what Prabhupada is saying, inexplicable. So when I was reading that, I was relating a lot. Something happened which was out of, nowhere, no reason, human reasoning, and why this happened. Something suddenly went completely wrong. And it was like an earthquake for me. Everything just as if finished. I was doing something, some courses I was taking, and suddenly everything was on hold for almost for 4 or 5 months. I could understand only, but I knew what I'm supposed to do at this time. So I just took the bead bag and started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then of course gradually, slowly I could understand why this is happening, why that happened. The ways of God are different from ways of man. Ways of God are mysterious, and trying to understand them is extremely bewildering. Don't try to understand plan of Krishna. Just try to execute plan of Krishna. Don't try to understand. And of course, this you will understand more as you grow in Krishna consciousness. This is why this is very important principle when we go through course of our life, that certain things may happen in certain situations, and those things happen. We just have to learn to live with them. We can't, give any reasoning or understand only. Just like some, disease may come. Today only I was hearing Haigriv Maharaj's story, Prabhupada disciple. He left Krishna consciousness, and then he was, detected with a cancer. Today morning only, just today morning I heard this class. Maharaj was saying that the Tatyano compounds on that verse Maharaj gave one lecture. We have this, that Maharaj radio, you have this, that Maharaj radio was released. There we have 5-star lectures by Maharaj. Beautiful lectures. Actually, every ISKCON, sadhaka who wants to practice till last breath should hear those lectures. Not because he's my spiritual master, I'm saying that, but worth hearing. 5-star series, heard by so many of our devotees, and they just enlisted that in the 5-star category. So, Hagri Maharaj, when he left Krishna consciousness, he came to India and he was enjoying on the beach of Goa. Maharaj was saying that he was enjoying, and suddenly he got a pain on the back. Then he went to US, and then he was detected with the cancer. They said, you have just few months. As soon as he heard that, he went to New Vrindavan. And there he was just whole day and night hearing Bhagavatam, chanting Hare Krishna. Radhanath Maharaj was there that time, and Maharaj was saying that Maharaj spent a lot of time with Hagri Maharaj. That time Hagri Maharaj, he was saying that, I am the most fortunate that Krishna, he gave me this cancer because he wants, because it was very difficult for him to give up, those conditionings. But through cancer, not only the conditionings, went away, but he, went close to Krishna. He was just thanking and congratulating. And like that, he left the world. So yes, of course, we may not be fortunate like that to have that consciousness, because we are not so great and exalted like Hagri Maharaj, but definitely we can try to aspire that. And one aspect of humility is, just to bow down before. Humility means we bow down, right? There is one aspect. Another aspect is when our opinions are not, correct, they are wrong, we have to admit them and correct. Second level. Third level, even more, when we approach God or subjects for bigger than us, we have to recognize that we do not know and we can't know. When we try to reason and understand why this happened, we may ask Krishna, but Krishna will not give answer. He will give answer when you are ready to surrender. Till that time, you will not get answer. Right. So this is how Krishna will try to, bring you closer and closer to him. And it's not just, that something may have happened to you, and you may think, okay, now this is over. But in fact, few things are waiting in the line. So therefore, it is said potential, acknowledging the potential for bewilderment that to come ahead in the future. It's not that, okay, now, just like I said that this happened to me, I may think, okay, now it's gone. No, that was the level 1. Now the level, Krishna will keep increasing your levels. So level 1, so he may not have tested me, like that. If he had tested me like that, 10 years before back, you will not see me here right now, because it would be difficult, too much, tough for me to handle that. But by this time, he knew very well that I can handle that. I can adjust. For some time, I may, chastise Krishna. I may curse him. I may, I may get angry. I may chant inattentively, but still I will chant. So yeah, of course, during those days, I chanted very, horrible rounds, very inattentive. But I did chant. I didn't give up chanting. Actually, I was thinking during that time that if I don't chant during this time, then I will not be able to chant any time in the life. Because if you can't chant in the most difficult time, you will not be able to chant any time. That's how Krishna will test you. And I could see how Krishna was trying to help me to move closer and closer. So like that, so this is how Yudhishthira Maharaj, will be pacified gradually as we move ahead. And message for us is, we have to, of course, at practical level, whatever corrections and adjustment we have to do, we should do and try to do that. But beyond that, if we see that it's not getting better we chant Hare Krishna. That's the only thing we can do. Right? Let's chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So if we chant Hare Krishna, then we can go beyond the bewilderment. Otherwise, our bhakti will stop here only, in the 9th chapter of the first canto. That's why in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, what is that word? Krishna is really Swarat. You can't imagine how much he is Swarat. You will only realize when you go through that. You will really, really and really appreciate Krishna. You are really Swarat, independent completely. Nobody can check you, nobody can stop you, nobody can go against you. When you decide, it has to happen. Must happen. Nobody can check it. Of course, when pure devotees they pray on your behalf, Krishna may think a little bit. He may, decrease the intensity, but still that action will be there because he is your well-wisher. And that's why it is said, another lecture I was hearing, Maharaj lecture. Maharaj says that, when we accept good things given by God, we accept them wholeheartedly, right? So if we are devotee or we are trying to love God, then we have to accept calamity also gracefully. That's called wholehearted acceptance. Not that I accept only good things and I know when bad things happen, I say, no, how can this happen? Krishna, you are not God. You are not good. No. If you love him, just like, in this world, this is just a mundane example. And of course, more like a Bollywood example, but still, you can relate. It's like a lover and beloved, they are there. If they love each other, they will really go through any situation to stay together. Whatever may happen, if you love, the sign of love is you are ready to adjust any circumstance. You are ready to tolerate any reversals. If you truly have love. Similarly, of course, that love cannot be truly love because material world there is no true love. It's all selfishness. But when we try to love Krishna and you really love him, you really love the devotees. See, one disadvantage of giving up Krishna consciousness is losing the best friends. Isn't it? You can't get such best friends even in the best of the material situation, material life. That's what I feel in the Krishna consciousness. Best thing we have is devotees. You should just imagine that if I go away from Krishna consciousness, I will lose such beautiful friends, such nice devotees. And of course, Krishna is the best of all. He's the best devotee. Best person to have friendship. But that's then Maharaj was saying that we have to accept gracefully reversals as well as good things. Both things you have to accept gracefully. That's called wholehearted acceptance. Otherwise, you are not accepting only. You are not grateful only. Then Maharaj says that when we say that you have to be grateful, we have to be grateful for things which go against us also. Then you are really grateful. Otherwise, you may say, "Prabhu, I am so grateful. I have so much gratitude." Your gratitude will be tested. Don't worry. Just wait for some time. Your gratitude, your patience, your perseverance, your everything. So many rounds you chanted. Just like I said, I chanted 108 rounds. Or you may say, I am daily doing my japa early in the 6 a.m., 4 a.m. I am every day doing Mangalarati. I am every day hearing Bhagavatam. Everything will be tested. Whether you really chanted or whether you really studied Bhagavatam or just to take it to the next level. So this is Krishna consciousness. Through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, coming through Sutta Goswami. Now later it will come through Sutta Goswami, and all the pastimes of Bhagavatam are like this only. Just gratitude. And the Mahajan, the first person who heard Bhagavatam, Brahmaji, he only says, Tattenu kampam jasriyam shamana, punjana evat makatam vipakam, radavaga vipavir, vardhan namaste. I just obey. With gracefully I accept all the reversals. This is the actually qualification to go back to Godhead. Not easy. So we may say chanting Hare Krishna is the qualification to back to Godhead. Yes. But chanting Hare Krishna with this attitude is the qualification. Practicing Krishna consciousness with this attitude is the qualification. Then only you can think of, attempt wanting to go near or match some level of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we are nowhere. It's all boils down to our attitude. Then that's why in NOI Prabhupada says that the progress of sadhaka in the devotional service depends on the attitude of the follower. It's all attitude, nothing. When we have good attitude, even our bad rounds will be accepted by Krishna. And if we have, pride in our heart, the Krishna will not accept even your 200, 300, 400 malas. Just like he didn't accept the Chappan Bhog of Duryodhan. Did he accept? No. But he went to the Vidurji and just had, banana peels. Why? Because Vidurji is a devotee. He accepted the berries of Shabri, Uchishta. Why he accepted? Because she had that heart. She had that love. Like that. So we'll continue in the tomorrow, the future verses further. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapurana ki jai. Vishmadev ki jai. Hare Krishna. So don't worry, don't get scared. I see all of you are most of getting scared. Don't get scared. Krishna is there to bring you close to him. He's not doing all these things to kick you out. Even when I was hearing that lecture of another lecture of Maharaj. Maharaj says that even when devotees fall away from Krishna consciousness, it is still the mercy of Krishna, because Krishna wants to correct them. Even when devotees become proud, they offend, they fall, but still that's the mercy of Krishna. So that we cultivate a proper attitude. We realize that I am falling because I am doing this and that. I am committing these mistakes. So like that. So don't worry. Krishna is very merciful, but his ways are different ways. You can't rationalize, you can't philosophize, you can't understand. You have to just accept, and that will happen as you go on practicing and associating with the great souls, hearing the purified souls like you. That's why it's important for us to hear these especially proper disciples. So of course we can hear other devotees also, but we have to specially hear Prabhupada and Prabhupada's disciples like Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Loknath Maharaj, Radhanand Maharaj, and of course and all the other devotees. We should have hearing pattern like this. We hear Prabhupada, then we hear Maharaj, then we hear all other Vaishnavas. Because the experience which they have, we are yet to go. We are yet to go through that. So if they have that experience, and if we hear that, we can save a lot of confusion, a lot of time and conflicts. Okay, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Vrindavan Mataji, you want to say something? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, when we read, we see in Bhagavatam, we see the reference of previous birth of Bhishma Pitama. Like here we know, because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we know that they are his eternal associates in a certain mood. But then in general, when we come across other people, they ask so many such questions related to this, like Draupadi was this. And when we read Mahabharata also, we see there's a reference when she was undergoing penance and she asked for several boons. And here in Bhishma Pitama's case also, we know, okay, he was eldest of the Vasus. He stole the cow of Vashishta Muni, and that is why he got cursed. So why are these things given in this particular way when we know that they are all, like beyond all these things? Actually, they are not bound by karma as we are. They are coming just to assist in the pastimes of the Lord. So why are they given like that?
We are the Lord. Right? Just now we discussed. Of course, different scriptures are meant for different kind of audiences, different levels of people. So Mahabharata is not ideally meant for devotees, isn't it?
Yes.
It's meant for
lesser intelligent.
Not but
people like me.
See, for a Person who want to be religious and pious, for them Mahabharata is there. I mean, moral standards, if one has to learn and follow ordinary, religiosity, or even say, uh, not exactly mundane religiosity, but kind of the religiosity of this world. So Mahabharata is there, and Bhagavatam is for bhakti, pure devotees, those who want to become pure devotees. So therefore, if you want to learn the other side of a devotee who is apparently appearing as a villain in other scriptures, you have to come to the Mahabharata, Bhagavatam only. See, those who are reading Bhagavatam, they can only relate. Suppose they suddenly start reading Mahabharata, those who are Mahabharata readers, they start reading Srimad Bhagavatam, they will not relate. They need the consciousness and understanding to relate that. That's why in our process of devotional service, first of all, we have to purify our intelligence by chanting Hare Krishna, and then we try to understand the scriptures. That's what my understanding is.
I'm sorry, Prabhu, perhaps I didn't word it properly. Like when we read Srimad Bhagavatam with the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our Acharyas, we are able to get it. We are able to understand, okay,
Other
this is
Bhagavad
the...
is not able to get it. You mean
like we are able to get the divine plan behind and their original identity and all. But then those who don't have this background and they are asking us this question, we can't even say no to that. Like okay, they are like liberated souls, we cannot explain them these things because they'll say no, they are bound by the ropes of karma now. So how to explain to them?
It's very simple actually. That's why we have, see, it is already explained many times that we have to study scriptures under, see, this is a book Bhagavad, we have to study it's under person Bhagavad. If you don't study under person Bhagavad, even the best of the pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam will be bewildering. So it is already said, Nashta Prayasho Vedashu Nittam Bhagavad Sevaya, right? But then who will clarify what is Bhagavad Sevaya? So there is a person Bhagavad, there is a book Bhagavad. Book Bhagavad you cannot understand independently of person Bhagavad. In one, I think, one of another lecture I was hearing, Maharaj says that even if you read Bhagavatam, and there are many Bhagavad Kathakars, they recite Bhagavatam, many devotees, they hear Bhagavatam, but they do not understand Bhagavatam. Why? Because unless you serve the person Bhagavad, Krishna doesn't reveal book Bhagavad.
Very true.
You have to surrender to the person Bhagavad. That's the process. Already in the Gita he mentioned Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashna Sevaya. Just asking questions and reading literatures and just reciting doesn't mean that you will understand them. No. Krishna wants you to become humble. In front of book Bhagavad, how much you will become humble? Book Bhagavad is he just like DT. He's just accepting you. Okay, you are coming to read. Okay, please read. But when you deal with the person Bhagavad, then you have to deal with your ego. You have to deal with your attitude. You have to deal with your opinions, and you have to submit that I am wrong. I do not know. I don't understand. You understand, Prabhu. You please explain me how it goes. So like that. So we have to understand through person Bhagavad. There is no other way. That's why you've seen so many kathas are being happening throughout India. So many saptas. But after sapta, what happens? You don't see bead bag in their hand.
But many times it happens, bro.
Yeah, it happens if they're fortunate, and if the kathakar is a good devotee, is practicing.
But Prabhu, even if it does not happen, taking the worst scenario, rather than going to a movie or wasting their time, they're sitting and hearing Bhagavatam. So it will not go waste. Definitely.
This is a pious, they are earning piety. I'm not saying that it is useless completely. They are definitely earning piety, but they will not get the what Bhagavatam wants to give. Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmasan satam. Bhagavatam wants to give paro dharma. They will not get that. They will get dharma, ordinary, and they may attend piety. But of course, this is stepping stone in their journey. But that will take a long time. Just like if you chant inattentively, it will take a long time.
Yeah, Prabhu, I have one more question. Prabhu, we studied so much about Kala, and we know like we always have personalities behind.
Yeah.
So Kala, is he being represented by Kali and Kala Bhairav?
Kind of also. Yeah, because Krishna, when he acts in the material world, he acts through Shiva and Parvati, right? Durga.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. And in the material world, his presence is different, and in the spiritual world, it is spiritual Kala.
Yeah, I mean Lord Krishna, you're talking about.
Yes, Prabhu. Like in material world, we know he is a destructive force
Yeah,
in the material world, and in the spiritual world, he is facilitating the different pastimes of the
yeah,
Lord.
just for the sake of pastime. Otherwise, there is no time in the spiritual world.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what
Not the way we understand or see
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right.
It
Yes.
said, inconspicuous by the absence of time. It is said by Prabhupada. There is no time in the spiritual world.
Yeah, not the material time.
Yeah, not material time.
Yes.
Even
Actually,
you spiritual time.
Actually, I was making a PPT. I was making a PPT on a Kala. So these thoughts were coming across my mind, and then we saw these verses here, and I got tempted to just seek your clarification.
Yeah, of
Thank-
course, I don't have much, but this is just what little bit I heard through, Maharaj and Prabhu's. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll meet
Hare
tomorrow.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare
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 Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Diki Jai. Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranam. Thank you for wonderful class.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.